Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
Hello, welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to click subscribe if you're new around here, please. And don't forget to hit a thumbs up on this stream. It all helps the channel out. It takes a couple of seconds of your time. Doesn't cost a copper coin. I want to wish you a happy new year. I want to wish all of you guys, all of your families, all of you guys support the channel, a very, very happy new year. And hopefully 2025 is looking upwards. But now we talk about West Ham. So obviously we had the game against Liverpool the other day. Jarrod Bowen was taken off with an injury after about an hour. He sustained an injury just a few moments before, and he was substituted shortly thereafter by Julian Lopetegui. We was all obviously asking the question, what's happening? What's the injury like? Is it serious? Is it not? All the rest of it. Well, Sky Sports News have now reported that Jarrod Bowen is out. And it hasn't given a prognosis on the timeline, but he has gone off with a fractured left foot. Now, I'm not an expert on injuries, it has to be said, but I would suggest that that is him out for probably around about 6 weeks, which puts us a little bit in the cart, it has to be said. You know, with striker options, we're not exactly got a bountiful array of options. We've obviously Michail Antonio, and I'm pleased to report it was also reported earlier today that Michail Antonio has now been discharged from hospital, and he will continue his recovery, convalescence, and all the rest of it outside of the confines of the hospital that he's been in since the crash. And I wish him the very best of luck. Jarrod Bowen, obviously, this injury is nowhere near as serious, but it's serious enough for the club that he is going to be out for a significant portion of time. As I say, I would suggest probably somewhere in the region of about 4 to 6 weeks, depending upon the severity. I'm guessing here. I'm not a medical person, but he's going to be out for a little while. He's certainly out of the City game. He's certainly out of the Villa game, which obviously is crucial as far as our season's concerned. That's pretty much our only chance of either A, silverware, or B, a route into Europe. It's not going to happen through the league, you'd fancy. And to have our main goal-scoring threat, our captain, the hero of Prague, out for a period of time is really, really bad news, which basically means we've now got only one player that, I mean, Jarrod Bowen, is he a striker? You'd probably say not, but he can play there. He would have been an option to play there at certain times. That option's now been taken out of the way. So what are we going to do? Is Kudus going to get his opportunity on the right-hand side? I mean, knowing the manager, some of the changes that he's made, he'll probably put Alphonse Areola out there, but that's another story. But this is some really, really bad news. Really bad news. It's come at the wrong time. We've obviously come off the back of an absolute hiding against Liverpool. Confidence is through the floor. And there's all the talk about, is the manager going to stay? Is he here for the long term? Is he going to go? He's under pressure. And now I think the pressure has intensified even more, because it becomes, I believe, even more imperative that somewhere within this transfer window, we do some sort of business. And I would suggest, I think now that the emphasis, I would have said, if you asked me this question a week or two ago, if you could only sign one player, what would the position be that you'd sign? I think I'd have probably said a mobile central midfielder, box-to-box central midfielder, energetic, able to chip in with goals here and there. I think I've changed my tack now. I think that with obviously the injury to Bowen, that the fact that both Kudus and Füllkrug, if you believe what we're being told, is that they're not exactly happy and they want out as soon as possible. Obviously, the injury to Michail Antonio, we are thin on the ground as far as forward options is concerned. It has to be said. And I think that we need to get some business done now. Is that going to be There's some names that have been floated around, the principal one being Evan Ferguson on a loan from Brighton. But whatever, we now need to get some business done in this area because we are in a bit of a pickle now, it has to be said. Let's see what you're saying in the chat, and please feel free to get in your comments as we go. Kent, hope you're well, mate. And gutted isn't the word. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but it's not going to be days, probably more like months, I would think, depending upon the fracture and position of it, but we'll see. Yeah, as I say, I'm not a medical person. I'm going to say, being optimistic about it, this may be, but I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks is probably a minimum. I'm guessing, is it a metatarsal or something like that? That was always the common injury back in the day, wasn't it? Broken metatarsals. Togger Brendan C, hope you are well and hope you have a good new year as well. At least we get the bad news in 2024. Kudos on the right now. Somerville must start on the left. We need the mythical striker. Will it happen, though? Will it happen? And a happy new year to you. We are in trouble. I think we were in trouble anyway, Hammer Time. This has just exacerbated that situation. This has just rubber stamped the fact that we are now firmly in the brown stuff. And you'll have to excuse me if I'm coughing. I developed a cough yesterday. I went up to the West End with my missus to see The Play That Goes Wrong, and it was really, really good. I thoroughly recommend it. Hi, Joan. Hope you're well and hope you have a good new year. I'm very sorry for Bowen, but my disappointment in our team performances continue. I think it's going to get significantly worse because you take out our top goal scoring threat, you take out our captain, you take out the heartbeat of our team, and I don't really see that our performances are going to improve any. I mean, let's be honest about it. We'd have probably been hard pressed to get anything away at Manchester City. Yes, they've been struggling, but you know what happens when there's a team that's struggling. West Ham pop up in front of them, and you know what happens next. So I don't really see that this helps us. This is absolutely going to batter our already fragile confidence, and yeah, it's not good news. Happy New Year to you and your family as well, Kent, and hope it all goes well for you. We are doomed. Guilherme must get a run now. That's one option, I suppose, Mark. I thought he looked bright and breezy when he came on, but is that going to be enough for Lopetegui? Who knows? Lee Hammer, hope you're well and hope you have a good new year. So the only player who looks like he cares about the club is out injured. What could possibly go wrong? I would recall JWP. Ain't it well be, but he plays like he cares. I'm not entirely convinced that there is a recall clause in the loan arrangement. But that being said, I was reading an article yesterday where I don't think he's exactly pulled up many trees at Nottingham Forest. He obviously he got sent off against Chelsea. I think he was doing okay up to that point. He then got sent off against Chelsea, and I don't think he's really regained any traction in the first team for Nottingham Forest since. They've obviously been doing really well. So whoever came in has obviously grabbed the opportunity, and he can't get back in. So yeah, it's this is not good. This is not good. People saying there's no way we can get relegated, need to wake up. People said that in 2003, mate, and we went down on 42 points. And bear in mind, we drew that last game at Birmingham. We could have won it, and we'd have still gone down on 44 points. So never say never. People turn around and say you're too good to go down. Look, honestly, do I think we'll go down? No, but I think that we are probably going to get dragged a little bit back into it. So Kent asked, do you think the injuries to Antonio and Bowen could be used as an excuse to keep the head coach in situ? I wouldn't be surprised, but we will see. But I'm not like some others that want losses, so goes. Look, I think that any excuse / reason that the hierarchy can utilize that's to their benefit, I think, yeah, it's I wouldn't put it past them, mate. I really wouldn't put it past them. Let me tell you that for nothing. I'm also I've just seen a little one there. I'm just going to sort of flash it up there. I didn't get it up for you, so to speak. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me press a few buttons because you've asked the question and I've got a little, hang on, where is it? I've hit download. Why did that not download? Oh, right. Hang on a minute. Right. So press that button. So it's now going to download a little photograph that I've mocked up of my, for those of you that don't know what he's referring to, we went to the Hammersmith Apollo and saw the Fools and Horses musical. And there is a photograph that I can share with you. So let me just figure it out. Buttons. Hold on. No, I've pressed the wrong sodding button, so just bear with me. See, this is what happens when you sort of like you take me off script. I need to just sort of no, that didn't work either. So hang on just a moment. Right, okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. I know what I'll do. I will share that, and then I will click on that, and that is us done up in all our finery. So as you can see there, there's a number of characters from left to right. You've got Rodney, Del Boy. That's meant to be Raquel when she was in her stripper guise. There's Del Boy in the middle with his cigar. There's Tony Angelino, the singing dustman. Hang on, wait a minute. It's not sharing with you. I'm rabbiting away and I've just realized it's not sharing with you. Right, hold on. How about that? Has that worked? I think it has. There we go. Right, just a little bit of something to lighten the mood. So there you go. Rodney, Del Boy, Raquel the stripper, Del Boy, Tony Angelino the singing dustman, and Rodney again when he was in the Groovy Gang. For those of you that are Fools and Horses fans, so yeah, that was the other night. It was a good little giggle, and we had a lot of fun. But since then, it's not been too much to really sort of speak about in terms of merriment. It has to be said. We will end up like Man United. I hope not, mate, because they're in pretty poor shape. And isn't it the second injury Jarrod has sustained against Liverpool regarding his foot or ankle? I'd have to look into that, mate. You may be onto something. There could be some truth in that. Once is a shame, twice is a coincidence, etc. Joan says we will have a depressed second half to the season. We need to battle to stay up. Souček is needed now. Who'd have thought we'd need him so much? And that's an interesting one because one other thing, as well as who's going to be our striker, who's going to play on right, whatever, who's going to wear the armband? Because officially our vice captain is Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell doesn't play. So I believe that when he went off the other night against Liverpool, Jarrod Bowen gave the armband to Lucas Paqueta. Well, I would not give him the armband. I don't think he's got the qualities that I would really want to see in a captain. I just absolutely not. No, thank you to Lucas Paqueta. I think that Souček is someone that I would consider, Kilman perhaps, but you know, in terms of actual proper leaders, I'm not too sure we're blessed with a plethora of them, to be completely honest with you. Blackpool had 28 points after the same amount of games and got relegated. That is correct, Peter. They did. We need more English players. Players like Martin Allen and John Moncur had less natural ability, but gave absolutely everything on the pitch. Exactly that, mate. You know, we need players. I mean, look, let's be completely honest. Let's paint a doomsday scenario, and I'd be really interested to get your take on this. Just supposing, for argument's sake, this season with this current crop of players, let's say in January, no one in, no one out, this crop of players, and we get relegated. How many of them do you actually believe would give a shit? I think Souček would give a shit. I think Bowen would give a shit. I think Fabianski would give a shit. Cresswell would give a shit, but he doesn't really play. I think Kufau possibly. Other than that, do I think that Fulkrug would care? Do I think that Kudus would care? Do I think Emerson, Paqueta, all of those players would give two hoots about a relegation on their CV for West Ham? I don't think so, because they'd get a big money move elsewhere. They'd fuck off. They wouldn't get a season in the Championship. They don't care. Looking at the next run of games, it's a losing run on the cards with a poor manager and a team with no idea what to do. Glad you like it, Togger. Glad you liked it. Peter says he thinks the players have been on the piss since September, or pissed off, says Togger. Since September, I think that the manager is part of the problem there, to be honest with you. Do excuse me. I think Souček is certainly in the frame to be captain, that is for sure. But it's another element of disaster to our season, it has to be said. Wouldn't play Pac-Man again. He's part of the problem. I agree, mate. I don't think he's bringing anything at the table as far as that's concerned. I certainly wouldn't give him the armband, although I believe he got the armband in the game against Liverpool once Bowen went off. And Make West Ham Great Again says, we're doomed, I tell you. It's not looking good, mate. It really isn't looking good. I've got to be honest. We need leadership, inspiration, and team building, and we are not going to get that under Lopetegui. He won't be sacked, though, unless we are bottom three for over a month. Lopetegui out, Rooney in. Well, Rooney has left his post at Plymouth. I don't know if he left or he was sacked. I'm not quite sure, but either way, there's been a parting of the ways there. Rooney, absolutely not. Absolutely not. 75% of the team wouldn't care if we went down, says Peter. I think it might even be higher than that. I don't think he would. I really don't. I think that he would sort of shrug his shoulders and he'd be off. He wouldn't be staying with us in the championship, mate. Yeah, I don't think he'd care. I think that's right. I think with the game on against City, I think that's. But you say their bank balance would care, they'd just be off, mate. They would just be off. These players don't give a shit. They really don't, and you can see that with half of them when you watch them on the pitch, as we're getting absolutely rinsed repeatedly. They don't care. The only thing they care about is the money. And let's be honest, if we got relegated to the championship, these players that I speak of would be off. They wouldn't be here, so their bank balance would be protected anyway. Pat, hope you're well. Sick of these heavy defeats. Paqueta needs to go, and a majority of the other players need to be on their way as well. I agree. The problem is that who do we get that replaces them? Because we had our trousers pulled down in the summer. You look at Nicholas Füllkrug. We've paid 27 million quid for a 31-year-old German international striker. Okay, fine, but he's about as mobile as a wardrobe, and he's got the injury record of Kieran Dyer. And we paid 27 million quid for him. I've seen a report that says that we would let him go, providing we got our investment back on him. There's no one in world football that would be stupid enough to pay 27 million quid for Nicholas Füllkrug. Absolute pie in the sky. Joke. Moyes OBE. Yeah, he got an OBE, didn't he? Good luck to him. OBE does not want a job fighting relegation, so he will not be coming back. Well, yeah, exactly that. I don't think he was in the frame anyway, mate. I really don't. That said, I think Hess full of bluster. Oh, he's full of bluster, and he'd go back to Everton tomorrow. I think that's correct. Kent says, if we went down, I've had this discussion with my friends. They say we'd get 40k at home games. I think we'd get 25k. Reason being, we didn't always get 30k at Upton Park when we went down. Tourists won't go. I agree with you, mate. I don't think we're getting 40. I really don't. Do you know what killed me? And I don't know whether I mentioned it on the review of the Liverpool game, but what really fucked me off was the fact that, now bear in mind, right? So I'm in the West Ham end. I'm a West Ham fan through and through. I haven't got a 50-50 scarf. I think that the only situation really where, I think I said this, I would actually say, okay, that's fine. 50-50 scarf is if it's a big game like a cup final. So if you've got a 50-50 scarf of West Ham and Fiorentina, I'd kind of understand that. I haven't got one myself and I wouldn't do it, but I can understand it. If it was a small child going to their first game of football, 50-50 scarf as a memento, not a problem. Outside of that, 50-50 scarves for me is an absolute no-no. And if you've got one in the home end, it probably tells me you're not actually a fan of the home team. You might be a fan of the away team, or you might just be a football tourist, right? Just along for watching what's what, right? Now, after that game against Liverpool, I'm really pissed off. I dare say a lot of you watching this were really pissed off. And, would I, after a 5-0 demolition at home where we've been absolutely annihilated, stand there, scarf above my head, smiling like a Cheshire cat and having photographs taken of me? Abso-fucking-lutely not. No chance, no way, Pedro, as Del Boy would say. I think you're right. I think somewhere between 25 and 35k is probably about right. If we got relegated, that's all we're filling it with as far as paying customers are concerned. Don't forget, we're not fans, we're not supporters anymore. The die was cast there by Karen Brady. We are customers, and that's all we are. And it was announced yesterday that the balance sheet is looking pretty healthy at West Ham United as far as turnover and profit and all that's concerned. So while that's happening, they're not going to change anything. They're really not. Relegation pending, says be careful what you wish for. You may be onto something. I don't think we will get relegated, but I think that we could get dragged into a relegation dogfight if we're not very careful. But look, we'll wait and see what happens. I'm certainly not saying it's an absolute impossibility, that I will say, because I thought in 2002, 2003 we wouldn't go down, and guess what? We did. Hammer Time says too many players using West Ham as a stepping stone. Yeah, exactly. We either get players, it seems by and large, we will either sign players that are on their way up or they're on their way down. So you look at Kudus, We signed him. He was on his way up. And I think everybody knew when we signed him, he's going to be a 2-season job and he'll be off. And obviously, at the end of this season, that's his 2 seasons done. He might not even get there. We might end up selling him. And this is the thing, is that now this injury to Jarrod Bowen, does it make it more likely that we would possibly accept a £65 million? I know there's an £85 million clause in his contract, but let's just suppose that City tested our resolve in January and said, here is 65 million quid, take it or leave it. Given the situation that we're in, do you think we would take it? Do you think we should take it? Interesting. Away days would be fantastic in the Championship, says Kent, though. So brilliant places to go. I've done the Championship tour before. And Togger's saying he hasn't seen Be Careful What You Wish For a little bit. Peter says, no, it isn't anything to do with football, but can't getting a knighthood. I heard a whisper this was happening a couple of weeks ago, mate. And I turned around to my missus and she looked at me just absolutely aghast and went, are you joking? And I went, no, I'm pretty sure I've heard that he's in line for a knighthood. And of course, wake up this morning, it's been confirmed. He's got a knighthood. Obviously, David Moyes got an OBE. There was a few others that I heard. And Gareth Southgate's now a knight as well. Apparently getting to 2 finals and not winning either of them is enough to get a knighthood now. It's absolutely incredible. Yet winning a World Cup like Bobby Moore, Sir Bobby Moore as he should have been, wasn't enough. Absolutely not. Or Martin Johnson. There's another one for you. World Cup winning captain. That's not enough for a knighthood. 50-50 hats are just as bad. I think the scarves are the ones, though, that stand out, really. I've not seen too many 50-50 hats, I'll be honest. The scarves are just baffling, absolutely baffling. In life, you should support one team and only one team and not several like some people do. I agree. Make West Ham great again, says Stighton has a lot to answer for. How many of these players will pass the Moyes character MOT? True, very good point. After the game, the other night, I just wanted to get the hell out of the stadium and get home. I was so furious, and scarf sellers must have done a roaring trade because there must have been mate, honestly, I was shocked. And I've been to London Stadium since we went there in 2016. So it's not really something that I see and have never seen before. I've seen it absolutely many, many times. So I don't know who you're referring to, mate, but if you don't like what's being said here, you just let yourself out. That's not a problem. If you want to be a little bit more constructive about things, and at the end of the day, I say that I know everything, and neither does anybody in here, but we just give an opinion, and that's it. So if this is not your cup of Tetley, then do yourself a favour, let yourself out. No problem at all. Don't blame Tim. It's all Floppy's fault for not playing them to their strengths. Peter says, come on, give the Steve Temperton lookalike a thumbs up. Thanks for that. Peter, we all have to support West Ham. We cannot get a divorce or walk away. We are stuck here until our last breath. Yeah, we're the ones that mean sort of like, unlike the players, unlike the hierarchy upstairs, we're stuck with it. Remember being at school back in the 70s, some kids changed their team depending on who was top of the old Division 1. Terrible. You've not seen an English team half Scottish? No, haven't seen that. Haven't seen that at all. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Plenty of West Ham fans have done the tourist thing abroad. Plenty of West Ham were in the Leverkusen home end last season. Yeah, but here's the thing. Were we in 50-50 scarves? Were we in home colours? Did we make a song and dance for ourselves? I bet we didn't. I bet we kept our head down. I know I would have done if I'd have been there. I hope not, surely not, but we'll see. Gently crest of the right like button, says Billy Bob. Thanks for that, mate. Do appreciate it. Little bit over the top, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. But so what are we going to do? I think, like I say, as far as forward options is concerned, we're going to need to do some business in this transfer window. That's absolutely certain. Whether it's a loan, I suspect that's probably what it will be. It will probably be a loan to the end of the season, which makes me wonder about this story about Evan Ferguson. Does that now sort of get a little bit more momentum? I don't know. But we're certainly going to need to do something. I think doing nothing is simply not an option. And who gets the captain's armband? Because, as I say, what concerns me is that Lucas Paqueta was the one that got the armband, I believe, against Liverpool once Bowen was substituted. And I just look at that and go, there is absolutely no way I would give him the armband. There was no way I would give him any sort of leadership role if he was the last person on earth, quite frankly. Someone came in with 65 million for Kudus in January, it would be accepted knowing Sully. And this is the thing, I do think that the situation that we're in, we kind of lose a little bit of leverage because other clubs who are interested in Kudus are going to know that we're going to need to do business. Obviously, we did a lot of business in the summer, which is looking progressively like it was more foolish as every day goes past. There's players that are just not stepping up to the mark or not being given opportunities in some cases. But either way, I do wonder. I do think that if they tested our resolve with a bid of 65 million, knowing that we're getting progressively desperate now, I wonder whether it might actually be accepted. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. But anyway, I'm going to disappear. Hello, Charlotte. Hope you are well. And Jarrod Bowen kissing the trophy there. He's in a cast at the moment, I'm afraid. What can you do? It is what it is. But hopefully he'll be back soon. Anyway, please don't forget, if you're new around here, hit subscribe. That really does help the channel to grow into something bigger and better. Don't forget to click the thumbs up before you've disappeared. Thanks for joining us. Hope you all have a really good new year. Please don't forget to also give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. Thank you, Charlotte. Do appreciate that. That is really, really kind of you. Thank you, Peter. That's really good of you to say. Oh, I'm just going to quickly click on that one before I go. The half and a half hats Peter was going on about. If you've watched the film with Gary Oldman, I think he needs the woolly hats where the bloke says Celtic. What's this got? Haven't seen it, mate. Haven't seen it. But yeah, Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you all don't get too inebriated and at least can remember what you did the night before. But yeah, don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons.
Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons.